Let's go. What's up? It's your boy HG. What it do? It's me in the B-I. No, not B-I. B-U-I-L-D. Boy, it's been a minute since I've been at school. That spelling is. That spelling was atrocious. I can't believe I was going to try to throw a verse out there spelling building B-I. Oh, man, boy, that's ugly. But what it is, what it do, man. Y'all already know what's going on. It's your boy HG in the building. I want to welcome y'all to another Soul Source. I'm not say it's Tuesday night Soul Source, but it's not Tuesday night. It's on a Sunday for what I'm going to call kind of like a weekly wrap up. Now I know we had a conversation on Friday, and you can say the week is over on Friday, but if you want to be technical, the week is over on Saturday because technically Sunday they rested. So yes, we are in the building this Sunday evening. And I'm going to do what I promised you all I was going to do. Now, Saturday, as you all know, Friday, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do on Saturday, whether or not I was going to live stream on TikTok, me picking up a pair of shoes and stuff like that. I did not know exactly what I was going to do, if I was going to go live on Saturday. Well, I'm going to tell you, the pair of cave stones, and we're going to talk about the cave stones too, but the pair of cave stones that I was going to use as a way to live stream on Saturday. I was supposed to get them for my lady, and she was like, I showed her the cave stones before we went to go pick them up, and she was like, I said, do you like these? Because they were supposed to be a surprise. Now, of course, if I would have told her way earlier, it wouldn't have been a surprise, but now at the last minute or the day of, it would be a surprise. So I asked her if she liked them, and she looked at me with an air of disgust and was like, ugh, no. I did just like this. Hey, babe, I got a surprise for you. Do you want these joints right here? And she looked at my phone and she was like, ugh, no, those are ugly. And I was like, she said they look gray, and I was like, well, they're brown. And she was like, well, it don't translate that way. And the look she had on her face, I was gonna ask her again, but that look she had on her face, I was like, nah, I'm not even gonna bother her because the way she told me and moved on to the next thing, I was like, it is what it is. So that ended that whole live stream idea of going to do a pickup. I did not get a pair for myself. Um, Now, in order to kind of give like comparisons between the topes and the cave stones, I might actually go try and pick up a pair. Maybe I like with them sitting. Maybe I can, use a coupon or two. Maybe I can use like my Finish Line JD Sports coupons, or maybe I can use a Hibbett Sports coupon if I got them. Sometimes that's the best thing about a pair of shoes, sitting around waiting. Because sometimes, like JD Sports, I know they let you use coupons, but sometimes they won't let you use coupons on release day. Depending, I guess it depends on your store. I know Hibbett's will let you use coupons the day of release and afterwards, but I know I've had people at JD say, yeah, you can use coupons on the day of release. I've had people at JD say, no, you can't use coupons on the day of release. And then I've had people at JD say, you can only use coupons for certain Jordan releases. And then other Jordan releases, you can't use JD Sports coupons. I'm guessing like on the like Jordan ones or something like that. But we're gonna check out the status of the cave stones because I do know for sure on one site they are sitting. We're gonna talk about this up and coming release and how more than likely those are going to be readily available as well. And then, this live stream is just going to be to talk about leather quality because we talked about leather quality Tuesday night. And then we also made fun of, on the slide that I showed, people who talk about leather quality and don't really know about leather quality. So tonight, I'm hoping that we will get definitive answers or some kind of answer nonetheless. And then hopefully this live will carry you into Sunday night football because currently it is 7:19 on a Sunday, and I know you all are waiting for Sunday night game. That's the prime time game. I think it's like at 8 o'clock or 8:30. So hopefully I can carry you all into Sunday night's game. Now, for all of my sports fans, how are you all feeling? How were all of my sports fans feeling? Because If you're like me, you might be feeling indifferent. If you're like somebody else, you might be pissed, or if you're like somebody else, you might be on cloud nine right now. Me, my team lost, but it wasn't a terrible loss, so I'm kind of indifferent. It's the first game of the season. There are plenty more games left to go in the season. We got a matchup next week in Minnesota in their home turf, so that's going to be tough. Minnesota is always tough, and I'm going to say it like this: my team offensively has to play a lot better. The play calling has to get a lot better, and hey, they're gonna have to ball their asses out. Hopefully, we can get some players a little bit more healthier, and hopefully, we can get some players back in order to, kind of get back into the intended plan. But we'll see, man. We'll see. My college team, ran the table for the second week in a row, though, so I'm really happy about that. I believe my secondary college team won this week as well, but lost the first week, so that's no good for me. That's kind of mid-tier for me as well. But hopefully, your team has won in your favor, or hopefully you saw some positives with your team, and then hopefully this live will get you into the primetime game for tonight and give you a lot to think about. So, like I said before, we are going to get into conversation about the cave stones. Now, let me go ahead and pull this up so you all can see exactly what it is I'm saying. So, the cave stones released yesterday at a retail price of $220. Now, if you ask me, $220 is a little bit too much. Maybe Nike and Jordan Brand need to go back to like the $200, $215 price range, because these are definitely in like the $200 price range for me. These do not garner $220. They're not that special. Excuse me. They're not that special. They're clean, they're okay, but $220, they're not that special. I look at $220 as collaborative releases, and this is definitely not in that realm of, collaborative tier releases, even with Nike Air on the back. Now, as you can see, this is the Nike Sneakers app or Sneakers website, and they are basically sitting in a full-size run. The only ones that aren't available are the limited sizes anyway, or the sizes that are limited anyway, like the 18, 17, 15, 16, 14s, and the 12 and a halves. But anything from 7 on up until a 13, again, minus the 12 and a half, is readily available. A full-size run, basically. And that is the Nike Sneakers app. So, how many of you out there, chat, comment section, how many of you out there thought that the cave stones were going to be readily available and sit? Now, I'm going to be honest. For me, I didn't know how they were going to perform one way or the other. I'm not even going to sit here and bullshit and be like, I kind of thought that they were going to be available, or I thought they were going to sell out. Now, things that would have made me think that they were going to sell out if they were limited. I think like the rumor was like they're going to be like somewhere around 95,000 pairs. And of course, we don't go by stock number rumors anymore around here. I don't know how you all out there are in sneaker land is, but around here, we don't go by the rumored stock numbers, because the rumored stock numbers are bullshit. And I can say that for certainty that they are bullshit. But how many of you all thought that these were going to sit, and how many of you all thought they were going to sell out? Now, I know the family was almost split down the middle, because a lot of people were saying that the cave stones were ass. A lot of people were saying that they were unnecessary, but a lot of people liked the cave stones as well, and that they were going to be going after a pair, and we're definitely going to be trying to get them on release day. Now, for, my people that went after them on release day, how do you feel now if you got your pair in hand? Raise your hand. One in the chat if you got them on release day, and then everybody else put how you feel about it in the chat. But now that you got them on release day, do you wish, with them sitting currently 12 hours late, almost 24 hours later, do you feel like you should have waited or have a better chance to wait and catch these on sale? Usually when you see them on Nike Sneakers app, it is kind of a clear indication of the direction that they're going. But let's go ahead and check some other places as well. Let's go to footlocker.com. Now, oh my gosh, the first thing you see, let me see if you all can see this. The first thing you see on footlocker.com is, okay, we're going to accept the terms of services, but the first thing you see on footlocker.com was an image of the cave stones. Let's bring those back. An image of the cave stones, and it says, don't miss out on the earth toned new retro 4. Meaning that they are begging and pleading you all to come pick these joints up. Let's see. Let's go see. Let's see what they have. We're gonna click on the cave stones, and they got a nice little banner of recent releases for Jordans. No, we don't need to sign in. No need for that. So let's check it out. Toddler sizing, $85. They've almost got a full size run in toddler sizes. So you got basically from a 4 to a 9. They sold out of the 2, the 3, and the size 10s in toddler sizing on footlocker.com. Now, Footlocker also is usually a good, clear indication of what to expect when looking at these, when looking at sneakers. So in the preschool size, we got an 11, a 1, a 1.5, 2, 2.5, and 3. So they're half sold out and half available. Let's check out the grade school. These are the most important sizes. School in that 6.5, 7 size range. So I expect them to be sold out in that size. But other than that, you got basically a full size run in the grade school, the boy sizing. And then let's go ahead and check out these adult sizes real quick. And the internet wants to falafel up for a second. I don't know why. Let me see. Here we go. So, at footlocker.com, when it comes to the adult sizes, we got an 8, 8.5, 9, 9.5, 10, 10.5, and 11. So just slightly shy of what Nike Sneakers has. The Sneakers app, I should say. Just a little bit shy of what the Sneakers app had. So my size is size 10. Those are probably the most mass produced sizes. A 10, sometimes a 10 and an 8 are the most mass produced sizes. And if they're sitting around, that's a fairly decent indication. So, not a full size run, but we got some fairly decent sizes at Foot Locker. So let's check out Hibbett Sports. Let's see if we can get to Hibbett Sports real quick. Hibbett Sports City Gear. Let's see. They've got the cave stones right there, waiting for you to pick them up. Let's go check out what they got going on with the cave stones. So we're gonna go back to the toddler size, and we're gonna check out the toddler size. Toddler size, and they looking like Foot Locker as well. Everything except for a 9 and a 10, a 2 and a 3. So you can kind of really gauge the most important sizes with this as well, which is, I guess, is a bit of a telltale sign, a little bit of more information than we normally get. So in the preschool sizes, we got 13 all the way to a size 3 available, and the 10.5, 11, and 11.5 is not available. I'm guessing the 10.5 sold out because the 10 sold out, and there's no real big difference between a toddler 10 and a preschool 10.5. So in the boys grade school, we've got a 3.5 all the way up to a 6. So basically the same thing you saw in Foot Locker. Again, like I said, those most important sizes to people in middle school and people in high school and adult women is 6s and 7s when it comes to men's size, because these are all in men's. This is not a women's release. Then we look at the adult sizes. The adult sizes, we've got basically what it looks like on the sneakers app. 7.5 to a size 12. The 12.5 is gone and the 13s are still available. So you basically got a full size run in adult sizes over on Hibbets. Let's see. We're gonna check one more, and then we'll check because what do we look at? We looked at Foot Locker, we looked at Hibbets, and then we're gonna talk about these as well too. So I'm glad they got those posted up for reference. But we're gonna check out Snipes, and Snipes is usually a good space to look at too. Snipes has a full size run. Snipes has a full size run. The only thing I will tell you all about Snipes though, when it comes to them, understand if you do Snipes shipping, they will ship your shit in a bag. So your shoes might very well come busted up, smashed, and if you care about the boxes, you better yeah, I don't know what to tell you. But in the adult sizes, they've got more than the sneakers app and more than the other main apps. They've got a 7.5 all the way up until a size 13. So, I mean, they damn sure got a full size run on Snipes. And maybe the fact that Snipes ships their shoes in a bag is why they have full size runs of just about every size, but I don't know. I don't know. That very well might be a nail in the coffin as to why Snipes is not selling well and is probably the last choice as far as buying shoes. Because I know that would be my last option. And I don't know why Snipes ships in bags. They really ought to ship in boxes, but I don't work for Snipes. I don't control anything they do, but hopefully they hear the live and decide, they want to go a different route and kind of start shipping in boxes, because that's not a good look. The bag is not a good look. It helps no one, and nobody wants to deal with that. Nobody really wants to deal with that because it just means damage. It just means possible damage. So Snipes, if you want better, you got to do better. Please, if you want better, do better. Now, another spot I want to look at is what is it? Oh, JD Sports.com. And this is one of those spots that allows you to use coupons. So, if these are sitting, you can take advantage of the situation. You can take real good advantage of the situation. Come on, JD, or come on, internet, whichever one. I need somebody to do what you're supposed to do. Okay, let's do this. JD Sports. Okay, let's go here. JD Sports. That's oh my gosh, that's what I went to. That's what I typed in. JDsports.com. And they didn't want to do it the first time. Okay, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. I don't mind. Okay, so now, okay. I was gonna say, well, Jordan 4. Let's type in Jordan 4 so that we can get all of them. No. All right. Toddler sizes. Let's see. JD Sports is basically sold out of toddler sizes except for the 7 and the 10. So if you need a size 10, JD Sports has your 10 you're looking for. Let's check out the grade school. They have every size in grade school except for a size 7. So they have even better options. 3.5 all the way up to a 6.5. Okay, that works. And let's check adult sizes. They got a full size run in adult sizes on JD Sports. So have at it. These are readily available on multiple sites. And if you don't see your size on one site, you are bound to see your size on another site. 7.5 all the way up to a size 13. And they don't even go beyond a 14. I think 14 is pretty much that, I guess, that grail size when it comes to JD Sports, unlike Foot Locker or The sneakers app, where they go all the way up to like an 18 for the sneakers app, and I think maybe like a 15 on the Foot Locker app. So there you go. The Cave Stones are currently sitting. How do we feel about the Cave Stones sitting? Is this a I told you so, or I knew it, or um, just give it some time? It's only been a couple of hours. It hasn't even been a full day yet since the release. What are your thoughts and opinions on how the Cave Stones are going to move? I really think that the Cave Stones are going to end up, if they don't pull them off the sites, I really think the Cave Stones are going to end up being a shoe that people really are going to fall into, no pun intended, around the fall time, because this is most definitely a fall shoe. And if you didn't get it now, and they sell out, don't be crying later, because again, like I said, they are readily available. Now, if you all don't know by now, and I don't see why you wouldn't, but what's up? Welcome to the Homegrown Kicks channel. Welcome to Soul Source. I'm here to help you out the best I can. If you don't know by now, the next up and coming release is the Air Jordan 5 Fire Reds. And you might say, yo, well, HG, we already have the Fire Reds. Hold on, let me see if I can find them real quick. Let me see if I can do a quick kicks inventory and pull the pair for you real quick. I don't see them, so I'm not gonna do too much. Yes, I found them right here. So you might say, HG, man, why are we talking about the Fire Reds? We've already got the Fire Reds. Well, I mean, yeah, we do already have the Fire Reds, but we've got these Fire Reds. The Fire Reds with the 3M on the tongue. And as you can see, I still have my pair of Fire Reds with the 3M on the tongue. DS, I remember when I did the video for it. I remember when I did a thumbnail for these Fire Reds. When did these drop? I don't remember when these released, but I do remember, filming the video and talking about them and doing all of that good stuff. Let me see. Ah, dang. Oh, there goes the tag way down there. The production date on this was 2020. So 5 years ago, which doesn't seem that far ago. It seems a lot more recent than that, but 2020, we got the release of the 3M tongue Fire Reds. And in 2020, we were talking about, hopefully we were going to see the black tongue. Now, a lot of people were begging and pleading to get the 3M on the tongue or get the Fire Reds. And then as soon as we got them, a lot of people were complaining about the Fire Reds and how they didn't really like the look, or if they didn't have a problem with the look, they wanted the black tongues more. And we had a lot of speculation going on in the sneaker community that with the release of the 3M tongue, that the black tongue was just right around the corner. Well, I mean, we were kind of right that we were going to get the black tongue, but it wasn't right around the corner. We are 5 years later down the line, and here we are getting the Fire Red 5 black tongues to be dropping this week. Now, let me see if I can find the release calendar, because the other website had them like sitting right there ready to go. But let's see if we can find them under new arrivals. Okay, so they're not quite there. Where was I? Snipes.com. I think it was Snipes. Yeah, here we go. Snipes had them ready to view. And come on now. Oh, the Trunners. But yeah, Snipes has them. I don't want to view the Trunner. Come on, man. Stop playing with me. You know we don't want to see the Trunners. But Snipes has them ready to go to view and for sign up. And they say sign up closes in 3 days and a couple of hours. 3 days and 2 hours, I believe. Let me see. Let me go back. 3 days, 2 hours to enter the raffle for the Fire Red 5 Black Tongues. And we done with the Cage Stones. We talked about that. So entries are open on footlocker.com currently. Entries are open on Snipes, as you can see. I believe entries are open on Hibbett Sports as well. So with that happening, if you don't see any other raffles readily available and open, more than likely they will open Monday, no later than Tuesday or Wednesday. Like sometimes I've seen raffles take as long as Wednesday to open up and they only give you a short window. I don't know why, or maybe I'm tripping, but we're finally getting the Fire Red 5 Black Tongues. I know a lot of people are happy about them. In my guesstimate, these are going to be released in a large quantity. They're going to be readily available. So if you want them, have at them. Now, the retail price for these is, let me check because Snipes doesn't have it available to look at the price, but let me see. I know Hibbett's definitely will have it available to look at the price. The price for the Air Jordan 5 Fire Reds in the adult size, that's preschool, that's toddler, that's men's. The price for the men's is $215. Now, see, $215 is a little bit over expensive for these Fire Reds, but that's exactly where I would have expected the Cave Stones to be. $215, $200. I expect these Fire Reds to be $200, not $215. Like they might want to seriously reconsider their pricing guide, because I think another thing that like is hurting is the pricing. So that is another thing that needs to be considered. So yes, the Fire Red 5s are dropping. So if you don't know, now you know. And then I'll probably remind people on Tuesday night, because it'll be closer towards the end for you to be able to sign up for raffles, especially with Snipes. Tuesday will most likely absolutely be the last day. And sometimes, depending on the way these releases go, they can go unexpectedly. You might end up thinking, oh, okay, they're going to be everywhere. And you fill out one or two raffles thinking that one or two raffles is good enough. And those one or two raffles fails you. And now you're scrambling, trying to, look for some other ways. It's better to be over prepared than under prepared, and it's always better than not being prepared. So there you go. That's the wrap up for last week and a little bit of what's going on this week. If there are any other shoes that are supposed to drop, I'll have you all in the know, of course. As always, your boy got you ready, got everything in line and in order for you. And the Travis Scott website, the action figure or whatever, as of yet, I have not purchased it. I'm still on the fence about that purchase. I don't know, man. Like $200, that seems a little bit crazy. But let's get into tonight's live and let's talk about this. Let's talk about leather quality. So again, like I mentioned, leather quality has been the topic of discussion when it comes to sneakers for forever and a day, and everybody has their I guess 2 cents as to what good leather quality is, or what good leather quality entails, or how you can feel it entail and things like that. And we've always really kind of questioned some of those narratives and ideas. And a lot of people know, but a lot of people don't know channels like Rose Anvil. Shout out to Rose Anvil. Like they do a really good job. And I haven't looked at Rose Anvil's channel in a long time. Let me see, just before we get to here, let me go to Rose Anvil so you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Rose Anvil is a leather expert, and the way he got to prominence was he really started off heavily reviewing sneakers, because sneakers were the popular thing, and still are kind of the popular thing, especially when it comes to shoes. But he reviews sneakers and he cuts them in half, and he talks about the quality of the materials between brands, between silhouettes, and he tells you, what's top tier, what's mid tier, what's basically ass. And he talks about the tech specs behind different pairs of shoes and different brands. But he basically does the whole 100 yards. And as you can see, he's gone through, like, look, how they kind of copied the Panda Dunks Vans and New Balance, how they kind of copied the Panda Dunks, and which one is better. I guess he's who dunks best. That's a weird title because the other two aren't dunks, but I guess I get it. It's a title to bring in bring in attention. But he started out like heavily doing shoes, and then he kind of like once sneakers kind of fell off a little bit, he started doing boots and stuff like that, and really getting into boots and talking about the quality of boots and stuff like that. So he does a really good job, giving details about sneakers and just basically, like I said, talking about them and telling us what's what and what isn't. And he, over the years, he's had like some really good insight and thoughts and opinions about Nike in general, because Nike is the big dog, and I mean, I learned a lot through that. But Seth Fowler recently did a video or a review about the best leather quality. Now, again, when we talk about leather quality and we talk about Nike and Jordan Brand, the standard is, or has been for a very long time, the shattered backboards. The shattered backboards, which retroed for the first time in 2025, which was about 2 weeks ago, came into a little bit of heat, came into some fire about the quality, and not only just the quality, but the look and the build. Now, Nike and Jordan Brand have been going on this tier of giving us like original looks with kind of like modern aesthetics and trying to just give us the shape and whatever else that we've been begging for. But I don't even really think that's what we want, because when we get what we've been begging for, we still complain. But back in 2015, when the shattered backboards first released, they set the golden standard for leather quality. And we've talked about leather quality on the 2015 pair of shattered backboards and talked about them being the standard for Jordan 1s. But we really hadn't had anybody like break that shoe down and talk about what's good about it or what might not be so good about it or this or that. And, this was just basically the perfect opportunity, because it was retro for the first time, and it was, like I said, the standard for leather quality. So shout out to Seth Fowler. Again, if y'all don't know who he is, he's a YouTuber. People have their thoughts and opinions, whether negative or positive, about how Seth Fowler is as a content creator. I don't know. I know of Seth Fowler, but I don't know about Seth Fowler, and I don't know about his content. I just happened to come across this because I guess it was the biggest topic of discussion, given that it's the shattered backboards. And as you can see, I'm not subscribed to Seth Fowler or anything like that. So I can't really judge the man. I can't judge him on how he is for the culture. I'll let you all be the judge of that if you know who he is. But he did a video where he went to a leather smith, and he had him compare the 2015s to the 2025s. So we're going to take a look at this video and then, try to end that discussion, and maybe it'll create another discussion within this discussion. But yeah, let's go ahead and check out what Seth Fowler has to say. And
the 2025 Air Jordan 1 Shattered Backboard has been one of the most controversial and contentious sneaker releases of all time. This one shoe has caused so much drama in the sneaker community, and this wild online back and forth all stems from the idea that the 2015 Air Jordan 1 Shattered Backboard is a better leather quality than the new pair, which actually, to be fair, I don't think is the main reason for the arguing. The main reason is that a lot of people are not happy with the fact that the 2025 pair is not as good as the 2015 pair, including myself. In fact, I made a whole video on it, and you guys hated it. From that one video, I got more comments about me losing my credibility, me being an idiot when it comes to leather, and me not knowing anything about leather or sneakers than I've ever gotten in any video. And what's wild is that I think a lot of people misunderstood what I was saying in the video, and if they had watched any of my previous videos, they would know that what they think that they're hearing is not actually what I'm saying. And that's that softer leather equals better leather, which is not something I've ever said. At least I don't remember saying it. I've made thousands of videos. It's possible that I let one slip.
So that was one of the things that I've talked about before, how people sit and they say, it was in that slide. Leather experts get on your nerves. People talking about how well they know leather and they don't really know leather. I think in the last live you all mentioned, or somebody mentioned, that Seth Fowler was one of those people that don't necessarily appeal to them. For whatever reason, I don't know, and that they kind of identified him with that slide and saying leather quality and things like that. Well, I mean, apparently he sees when people says, well, it's not apparent, but it's obvious. He sees when you all say that he doesn't know anything about leather and things like that, and I guess he's admitting that he doesn't know much about leather, but that he's just going on his own biased opinion. And he's here to prove or dispel some of those rumors, and I guess give himself a little bit of credibility. He might not personally say that he's doing this to also give himself some credibility, but we all know, man, depending on how this video goes, he's dropping this video. And I don't know if it went bad or if it went good, but he's dropping this video to, put the middle finger up at some people. I don't know how many subscribers he has, but I'm pretty sure he's got a shit ton of subscribers, giving the golden plaque on the back of the wall and the silver plaque on the back there. But he's doing this to give a lot of those naysayers a middle finger, one of those, what we like to do around here. Hey, what is up? Olipag 311716. How you doing, man? Glad to see you around here from Twitch, man. Hope you hit that subscribe button and join the family. But I'm pretty sure he's doing this video to basically kind of tell people to
shut the fuck up, nigga. For once, shut the fuck up, bro. That's all.
Because I don't know if this video didn't go his way, why he would drop this video, but I mean, he might be one of those people that's willing to admit when he's wrong. I don't know. Let's go ahead and continue checking out the video on what shoe had better leather quality, the 2015 or the 2025, and hopefully we'll also get a little bit of information about leather quality as well, because I've thrown my 2 cents in about leather quality, or what I know when it comes to different leathers in there as well. So hopefully, I'll get some information to either back me up or improve my knowledge.
But I've never actually thought that. I've seen Twitter arguments about the video online. I've seen Instagram posts saying that one of the biggest problems in sneakers is fake leather experts. Even other YouTubers were making videos calling out fake leather experts in the community, which I don't think was directed directly at me, although it could have been, which is fine. It doesn't bother me. Although I am making a video now, so maybe it bothers me more than I thought. So
right, and that's what I was saying. The fact that he went this far in order to try to prove a point, I don't know. Is he doing it for himself, or is he doing it to actually help the community? But yeah.
For today's video, I decided to get an actual leather expert to tell me which one of these shoes is better. And not only
nice. We're gonna be learning some shit today.
Which one was better, because I think we would all agree that the older one is better overall, but how much better it actually is, and also bust some myths about leather quality. One of the main ones being that the thickness of leather determines how nice a leather is, like thicker is better, thinner is worse. In reality, the thickness of the leather really has no bearing on the quality, which we'll talk about later on in the video. So let's go talk to this leather expert. It's me.
dude, he looks like he looks like the dude from Scooby Doo who plays Shaggy, or he looks like somebody's like, old ass uncle. It's crazy how glasses and a swoop of the hair will change your appearance for better or for worse. Like he looks old, dude. Seth, you got to get rid of those clear frames. I don't know if it's the frames, if it's the mustache. Maybe the mustache needs a little bit of trimming. The hair is fine. The hair is fine. But I don't know, man. I don't know.
I'm the leather expert. I'm kidding. This is Mike, leather artisan. He's made bags for celebrities. He's made bags for Apple. He is truly a leather expert and knows everything there is to know about leather. So I wanted to get him here today to find out which one you actually think is better leather. And not only that, how much better leather is it? These are the two shoes. I'm not going to tell you which one is which, but if you could go over an initial visual.
How much better is the leather than the other one? Or how much better is one leather than the other? I think what he was trying to get out
Visual
there.
inspection. Let me know which one you think is.
Get my my official leather specs
You
here.
got to.
Take
You
a
got
look
to.
here. Well, I can tell you, obviously, it looks like there's some different types of leathers in this.
Okay. Now, just to clarify, I think that, and I want to get your opinion on this.
Sure.
Nothing really that Jordan brand mass produces is decent leather or good leather.
I mean, again, my first blush would tell you that it's probably not like what you would say is your premium or high, super high.
So, one thing I want to say is I'm not sure why he brought up that question when he only showed this guy two pairs of shoes and they're the same pair, they're the same silhouette and the same color. I don't know why he would ask him about the broad spectrum of Jordan or Nike brand as a whole. Like he would, in order for him to get a proper response or a proper answer on that, he would literally, and I keep having a burp, but he would literally have to bring him as many pairs as possible, as many different silhouettes as possible, and as many different tiers or different levels of what Jordan and Nike would suggest as possible, and then ask this man to study them, and then ask this man for that question in order to say whether or not Jordan or Nike brand as a whole does not do good leather. Now we have, like I said, there are other channels that test leather quality, and Rose Anvil is one of those. And from what I've seen with Air Force Ones, Rose Anvil has kind of given like two different responses, because there's like three different types of Air Force Ones that I know of that are on the market. You got one that's like the regular Air Force One, and it's basically built like a regular Air Force One. You get everything that you're used to. And then you got another Air Force One that is like built slightly different and the color is off. So I don't know if you all have ever bought a pair of Air Force Ones at one time and you've seen it is like white. And then you buy another pair of Air Force Ones and you see the insole is a little bit different and that the color seems a little bit off. I'm here to tell you, no, you're not tripping. Yes, the color is off because yes, it is a different Air Force One. I don't know why Nike does that or did that, but they did it. And then there's another one that's it's made out of like, I don't remember what it's made out of, but I'm telling you, there are three different types of all white Air Force Ones. Trust and believe that. Trust and believe me when I say that. So like to ask a question about Nike as a whole or its entirety is a little bit presumptuous and would be a little bit inaccurate based off the fact that he gave him this right here and asked him to look at that. So that's not going to be like his response to that question is not going to be helpful or accurate, especially given the fact that like Nike says they have like good tier, they've got like bad tier. I mean, not bad tier, but they've got like premium quality materials, like the Air Force One that they did on the Certified Lover Boy, or the Air Force One that they did on the little Yachty joints or something like that, like a collab Air Force One or something like that. So again, without me doing too much rambling, you'd have to drop a broad spectrum of shoes in order to properly answer that question. So let's get back to it.
high quality leather. But
Makes
I mean,
sense.
it looks like real leather, number one.
Okay.
It looks like fairly decent leather. It looks like different leather. The black, the orange, and the white are all kind of different leathers.
Okay.
And it looks like they're pebbled, which is, you know, with a lot of leathers, what they do is they'll take second or third tier grains or, you know, skive them.
It says skiving leather is a leather working process of shaving off thin layers from the flesh side of the leather to reduce its thickness, making it more pliable for bending, folding, and stretching. So basically, what these shoe companies do in order to, I guess, to save time, labor cost, and you know, whatever else, they have somebody shave down thin layers of the leather. That way it's easier foldable, easier to run the thread through, and basically easily workable. So that like they can get the level of product they want. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know if thicker leather is better than thinner leather, or it doesn't matter. I don't know.
And then they'll use different leathers for different things. Probably for these, they're not using the top grain, like the highest leather.
That makes sense.
And part of that's because the natural leathers will crease a lot more than others, and they patina really. Like I like that personally for myself, but I'm not sure for when you're making hundreds of thousands of pairs, you probably want consistency.
That makes sense.
Okay, so he says one of the reasons why they are not using top quality leather is because you see a lot of creasing in top quality leather. Now, I don't know if that is actually Nike or Jordan Brand's reasoning behind that, but what do we all complain about? Or what do you all complain about all the time? You all complain about creasing. When you get your shoes and they got little creases fresh in the box, y'all someone say, oh, it's trash leather because it's creasing already. Oh my God, it's got creases in it. Whoa, I mean, newsflash. Shoes are made to be worn. Shoes will crease. So I don't know why you all might. According to this guy, creasing is actually a good thing and actually a sign of some actual good quality material. So, I mean, you might want to rethink the fact that you want, whether or not you want creasing in your shoes or not. Because if we actually ask for good quality leather and thick leather, we might actually start seeing more creasing. So maybe the mindset about that creasing has to change. But I'm gonna go ahead and let this guy tell y'all a little bit more, and let's get back into it.
And the other thing is, like, I'm looking at this pebbledness. You can see here, this looks like, just from when I'm looking at this looks like nicer leather than this.
Okay.
And when I'm doing a project on leather, it has to speak to me. It has to have texture. It has to have, there's a touch and a smell and a way that it works. That's what to me signifies a really good leather. Aside from just the name brand that comes with it. And we don't know where these leathers came from. I'm assuming they're probably in Asia somewhere.
Most likely, yeah.
But you know, the white leather in this has a pebbled nature to it. And what happens when they do a run of leather, they put a embossing over it, which gives it the pebbled feature.
So that's not a natural feature.
That's not a natural feature.
Gotcha. Okay.
Now,
well, damn. You know how you all like to say that tumbled leather is a good sign of whether the leather is good or not. This man is telling us flat out that tumbled look, that pebbling or tumbled look is not natural. That it is not a natural occurrence within the leather, that is when they press the leather out. No hype, man. Salutes to you, brother. What's going on, man? How you doing? We up in here. We talked about the cave stones being readily available in full-size runs everywhere, and whether or not, you know, we think it's going to sit even further, or if it's just, you know, give it time kind of situation. We talked about the Black Tongue Air Jordan 5s on sites right now, ready to enter the raffle. I do believe those are going to be readily available, and that those will actually suffer the fate of the sitting. And even though people have been begging for them and the hype has been real and people have been saying, oh, I can't wait and I got to get a pair. I talked about those as well. $215 is the retail price. A little bit pricey for me. I'd like to see them at $200, but man, you know what it is. No Hype said, just been chilling, enjoying Sunday, lacing and messing around with my shoes. Absolutely, man. The purpose, you know what? This is the weekly roundup. The purpose of this live is to get you all into Sunday night football at around like 8:20, 8:30. But also to be informative, talking about leather, man. You know, I said I was going to talk about it. I did not do it yesterday because I was going to do the TikTok as a live stream pickup. I didn't do that because my girl who I had gotten the shoes for, I showed her the day of and I asked her, what did you think of them? And she said, ew, those are ugly. And I was like, oh, well, that killed that live stream. So, I mean, here we are now doing the video I said I was going to do because I promised it to you all. You know how I like to keep my word and to be true to y'all around here. So we're talking about leather quality. He's comparing the 2015 shattered backboards to the 2025 shattered backboards. And so far, we've learned that by this guy's first look, that the leather on the 2015 looks better, and that the tumbled look of the leather, or the pebbling as he calls it, is not natural. That is done by a press. So from Bricks to Kicks, man. So what's good, brother? What's good, Bricks to Kicks, man? I'm doing it live that I promised y'all. Man. I'm hoping that this carries everybody into football Sunday, primetime TV. But yeah, I promised y'all this live about leather quality, and I'm delivering. POV for the final. The father. But let's see what this guy has to say about the 2015 to 2025 shattered backboards as far as leather.
There are natural features. Like you can see, this actually looks more like it's natural feature,
Right.
Because it's not uniform.
Mhm.
Whereas if you look at this one, it's almost uniform, and then in nature, nothing's uniform. I can just tell you just from feeling it, this is a nicer leather for sure.
Awesome.
I don't know which one it is, but it's the white is definitely a nicer leather.
Okay.
I think the Nike swoosh on both of these looks identical and looks kind of like plasticky. It doesn't really look super high quality.
Mhm.
And then the orange is very more similar to the white.
Okay.
I would say this looks more manufactured.
Right.
It just doesn't have, like, you can kind of see, and plus some of the glues like
Yeah.
that. That's just a quality item there. I would say for a Nike, I'm surprised that they actually went to that.
Yeah.
Would sell those for that. I don't know.
Unfortunately, it's
Now that is a telltale sign that you can tell this guy knows nothing about Nike. He knows nothing about Jordan, because one of his first remarks when he actually looked at some more details was the fact that there was glue stains on the shoe. We all know that when it comes to Nike and Jordan brand, you're more liable than not to get glue stains on your shoes. Now, I've been lucky when it comes to glue and stuff like that, and I have very minimal glue stain to no glue stain at all. Most people, from what I see on social media, and that's pretty much what you'll see, because a lot of people will complain more than they will praise on social media anyway, is I've seen more heavy glue staining when it comes to Jordan brand releases than I have seen non-heavy glue staining. But again, that's because we all know people will complain and bring that to social media more than they will praise something. No Hype said it depends on which pair you got. Some are super soft and less coating. Exactly. And I love how people try and sound like leather experts when they can tell the difference between Nubuck and when they can't tell the difference between Nubuck and Durabuck. Facts. So now this guy right here, he's an actual leather expert. This is his shop where he makes like bags and all kind of stuff. He knows like tanning and the terminology of tanning and all kind of leathers, and he has his favorite type of high quality leather and stuff like that. And one thing I will say, one thing that does not help this kind of research or experimentation is the fact that the 2015 pair, not only are they 10 years old, but they've been worn heavily compared to the new pair. So the worn pair is going to be more broken in than the new pair, and it's definitely going to give a different feel. Now, as far as the leather quality, I don't like it. It would probably be way better if this guy took these shoes apart and actually looked at them, was able to get the layer of paint off or whatever and look at them that way. And I don't know if they're going to do that in this video or not, but that's one thing that also works against it, is because the 2015 pair are worn and used and old. Another thing that a lot of people do not know and do not realize is that I think like every 5 to 10 years, Nike cycles, or Jordan Brand cycles through different leather. So what you got a couple of years ago is not going to be from the same manufacturer as currently. So you're going to get different leather quality. So, I mean, it's kind of skewed. It's really kind of hard to do. But I guess if you're going to keep it strictly to which one is better, then that would be, I don't know, because like I said, the other pair, the 2015 pair, are worn, and it makes it just a lot
common now.
But you can see it's all the way
with
around.
some variables that I don't think
whoever
are
was
being
making
thought
these,
about.
Just slapped it on and threw it in the
versus
in the midsole.
this one doesn't have that.
Right.
I would tell you that for sure this is a better leather all
Okay.
around.
That's the 2015 pair.
Okay.
That's the older pair. So to give you some background on the story, so this pair first released, 2015 pair first released back in 2015, obviously, and it was inspired by the time that Michael Jordan shattered a backboard when he was playing a game in Italy. It's inspired by the jersey that he was wearing. But when this shoe first came out, people were so impressed by what they thought was the leather quality and the fact that it felt so good that they were like, this is the benchmark for Jordan quality leather. This is like the new bar for leather quality. And to be fair, I mean, it does feel really good.
It's not bad for as far as mass-produced sneakers go. I'd
Mhm.
say it's a decent leather. Again, between the two though,
Right.
This one's, I can already tell you that this is just more part of what they probably do is they go through and go after years of production. I would guess somebody's saying, well, people are complaining, maybe or maybe not, that these break down a little bit because
Gotcha.
natural leathers over time will patina and they'll get worn out and they get softer, but it could also make them not look as pretty.
Right.
Whereas
that makes sense.
They may be trying to avoid that with these. Having had a business where people would return things, I could see why you might want to make it more uniform.
Now, is there a chance that a lot of the leather on this shoe could be synthetic? Is that possible?
I would tell you that it looks like the white and the orange. I would tell you are natural leathers.
Okay, cool.
The black, I would be suspect.
Okay.
This part seems more natural than the swoosh, and
right.
And my guess is, again, on production they probably make 4 billion swooshes out of whatever.
So okay, again, this guy, he knows nothing about Jordan or Nike. He knows nothing about their products, so he's kind of taking a stab in the dark at this, basically. And you'll hear his opinion vary about the overlay and the toe box overlay or the toe overlay compared to the Nike swoosh. And it's weird because he focused on the 2025 pair for a good little minute when he's doing this conversation about the lace overlay and the toe leather and the Nike swoosh. He's looking at the 2025 pair because Seth has the 2015 pair in his hand. And he said, like you heard, he said the lace overlay and the toe looks more natural than the Nike swoosh. Well, we all know that the Nike swoosh is, well, not, we don't all know, but just knowing from Rose Anvil's channel that the Nike swoosh is synthetic leather. It's not real leather, it's plasticky, all of that. But like we know that, well, I know, I don't know why I keep saying we know. I know just from watching other channels where they talk about leather and stuff like that, that it's more common for the lace area overlay right at the toe where the knuckle or the joint of your toes are in the front of this shoe. And if I had a laser point, I don't know if you can see the mouse, but this part of your shoe, it's more likely to be synthetic because that part of your shoe goes through a lot more rigorous activity versus the rest of the shoe. This is where you have a lot of rubbing of the foot on the inside of the shoe, a lot of the wear, the tear, the bending, and this part of the shoe has a lot of stress on it. So they had to build the shoe in accordance to like go with the stress
for leather. And then
That's
this
too
leather up
expensive.
here looks synthetic.
Right.
It
Okay.
feels synthetic. I think it is not leather.
What sort of gives it away, the fact that it's synthetic?
The first things are touch, feel,
Gotcha.
texture. Those are the things that strike out at me
Right.
Initially. And I
Gotcha.
would tell you that if somebody gave me a hide, and I would be able to tell you like right away that that's not fake, that's real. I've had people that have asked me to cut quality down to do mass produced projects before, and
Right.
it's been tough for me just because I just doesn't feel right.
Gotcha.
That's what I would say. The swoosh and potentially these pieces of the black,
Right.
I would say very much guess that they're probably not all
Those
leather.
are-
They have
Those are high stress points. So if it's not real leather, I wouldn't be surprised.
hybrids though.
That makes sense. Okay.
So they
Okay.
may be, what they do is they take pieces of lesser quality leathers and glue them together with synthetic product.
Gotcha. So would they use the nicer part on the outside, the part that's real, and then use the synthetic on the inside?
They'll use the nicer parts for the high quality
Seth
black
really
parts,
needs to
like
cut
the
that
stuff
much.
you're going to see.
Right.
I mean, I'm not
The
trying to
lesser
hate on a
quality,
man's
it's not,
mustache and nothing like that, but
stuff that
Seth
you're not
needs to
gonna see.
cut
It's more
that
just it's
mustache.
cheaper.
That mustache.
Like this swoosh, I don't think you could do anything to damage the
Right. It's
unless you
very
melted it.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
guessing that's probably it's not going to scuff.
right.
People aren't going to be giving it back and doing all that kind of thing.
One thing that people said when they saw these two shoes together was that the orange on this shoe was a little bit lighter, more yellowish than the orange on this shoe.
Yeah.
Initially, I was thinking that was because they just changed the color slightly. People were suggesting in the comments that it had aged. I just noticed it seems like the orange on this shoe is very consistent, almost too consistent to be aged, would be my guess. But I wanted to ask, is it possible for this kind of dyed leather to be
Oh, it'll most likely if it's I would say almost definitely it will age
Okay.
and get lighter.
so there's a potential that this could have looked like this 10 years ago when it first came out?
Yeah, but
Okay.
I can looking at it in this light,
Mhm.
under natural light, I can still tell that this is better leather.
Gotcha.
And you can it doesn't need an expert to be able to look at it
Yeah.
and touch it and feel like, all right, it just seems like
And then, okay, and he keeps saying that, but to No Hype's point earlier, this shoe is mass produced, and different ones have different quality. You'll get different ones with different qualities because they come from a different cut. Like hell, okay, shit. I don't know. I just had the damn shoe the other day, Tuesday. And now I don't have it anymore. What the hell did I do with that shoe? Hold on. I know I'm not tripping. Or I might be tripping. How in the hell did I lose? How in the hell did I lose my shoes? Wait a minute. Is it this right here? Okay. I was gonna say, had I lost these shoes, I'd have to be an idiot because that would be the quickest loss ever. Okay, so let me see. I'm gonna make myself bigger and see if you all can see that. So if you all look at my 2025 pair, minus the color, the leather, and the cut with the, and that's that look the guy was talking about that's not real. But look how that leather creases and buckles right there. And then look at that. And then it creases and buckles in the toe. And it's extremely soft. And I mean, like I said, but if you compare my 2025 pair to his 2015 pair, my 2025 pair is more consistent with his 2015 pair than his 2025 pair is with his 2015 pair. So, I mean, like No Hype said, it's going to be different all across the board. Like it's so I don't know how like consistent that thought process is, but I mean, man. Mass-produced shoes have the worst quality leather. Even Gucci and Balenciaga got doo-doo cheap leather. Yeah, no, they do. They do. And people are paying a whole bunch for like low tier stuff. My left and right shoe are slightly different. Shit, the leather on the heel is cut shorter on one shoe than the other. Damn. I'm not tripping though. They just a fire shoe as long as they hold up past 3 years without ripping. I'm big. Hey, I mean that's facts. Paying to get robbed for real. Yeah, I mean that's basically what it looks like and how it feels when we spending all this money. Like we're just paying somebody to rob us. But you know, it is what it is, man. We like what we like. And as long as we satisfied at the end of the day without doing too much thinking on it, I mean that's all that we can ask for.
It's more supple, I guess is the right word. This is a deeper shade of orange. I don't think it's gonna fade quite as nice as this will fade.
Like,
and this
my
does
fucking,
kind of have
like
a
my freaking toe box
that
is
you can
supple.
see it's happening.
Yeah.
Well,
which
I
is
don't
nice.
know.
This
My
is
toe box
definitely-
is supple.
The more I'm looking at it, the more
Look
I
how
can
it
tell you
folds.
that
Look
this
how
is
it folds.
definitely higher,
It just
higher
folds.
quality than this.
I can pinch it.
With the exception of the white.
I
The
can
white in
pinch this like
looks
somebody
very-
like a
Okay.
I
person.
mean, I think it's not better, but I think it's similar to this.
That's how supple the
Although
leather
not-
on my
not
toe
as
box
good.
is. So I don't know.
I take
Like,
it back. It's not as good as that.
Fair enough. I basically did a video complaining about how
I would have to
shoe was
take.
the
I
worst
would have to
issue in
run
that
my
opinion.
pair
What
to
people were
Steph
saying was that
and
the
this
reason
guy and be like,
that I
okay,
was
well,
saying
what do you
that
think
it
now?
was worse was because
So
leather was
I
softer.
don't know.
Obviously, softness is not always an indication of leather quality.
There's a lot of reasons why it would be. I mean, famous leather type is Horween, which is used in a lot of shoes.
Okay.
It's very supple, very soft. It's one of the best quality. It's American made leathers. It's one of the best quality leathers that are out there. You can skive it, which is to cut the leather thick wise,
Gotcha.
not dimension wise, but cut the thickness down.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, can I show you? This is the same hide from Horween. I had this skived or made a little bit thinner just because I was doing a project. In fact, I was making this bag with a combination of recycled materials and new. But if you look or if you feel it, I don't know if you will be able to do this on the film, but you can feel how
That's very thick. Yeah.
Versus this.
Oh, so is this actually skived all the way through? It's not just an edge.
6.
Gotcha.
This is probably a 1 to 2.
Okay.
So it's not an issue whether of quality or not. It's more preference. This is going to be a lot more malleable. The thicker, the less malleable.
That makes sense.
But the thing that's cool about shoes is if you're going to wear them for a
So the
long
thicker
time,
the leather,
and you're actually going
the
to wear
lot
them,
less workable the leather is. The thinner the leather,
the
it's
thickness
more
will
workable.
get
But that doesn't
softer with
mean
age,
like
and
the quality
it'll
is
get more malleable, and it'll last it's thinking about just having a sole that's this thick versus a sole that's this thick. It's going to last that much longer.
right.
That makes sense. Okay. So just because
Thicker
it's
leather
doesn't mean it's worse
doesn't mean
quality at
it'll
all.
That's correct.
And it just means it's going to be softer. It's just purely a
Yeah, so
something
and
into it.
you can and sometimes in the
You do
process of
rub the
leather
side of my
making,
shoe.
the process is different. So vegetable tanning is you're using natural materials to tan your leathers, and Wickett and Craig's what I use a lot of.
Mhm.
Some of these bags here,
Oh,
Wickett
cool.
and Craig, they can take 2 weeks or 3 weeks to go through the process,
Right.
and the longer that goes through the process, the more supple they'll get.
That makes sense.
Unless you're trying for something different.
Gotcha.
And then it was in the case of like Horween or Chrome XL, which is probably what a lot of people tanneries in Asia are doing, is the chrome
Okay.
tan.
Okay.
And again, that's a quick process. You can't really have as much. I guess just put more chemicals in it to make it
Totally.
change the feel and the touch of the product.
And then one last thing I wanted to ask you about these shoes in particular is I've noticed that these ones you can actually see the pores. And my wife was telling me that's called the pull. When you can, is that
Yeah.
okay? This one you can't as much. So I don't know if there's maybe on the newer pair a finish that they put on top of it to where you can't see the pores.
I would tell you that part of it's the quality of the
I
leather.
can see the pores.
When you're doing
I can see the pores on my shoes. So I don't know what the hell Seth is talking about. Again, he is missing the fact that these shoes are mass produced, and you're going to get different qualities, you're going to get different depths all across. You're going to get like different shoes all across the board. It might be the same silhouette, it might be the same color, but you're going to get different variables all across the board. And his questions aren't really accounting
like
for
the
that.
toe and then the heel. You can feel there's like it's probably cardboard underneath there that they pulled on and on the last. So the pull, what happens is as you get to those hard, rigid areas, when they're doing the process, it will smooth out some of those textures.
Gotcha.
And again, these leathers are probably embossed for the most. It's sort of like a basketball is
Right.
tacky.
So it just presses on the
It
texture.
presses on it. So what happens is the texture gets worn off.
He said,
If
bro,
you're-
foreshadowing.
if you're
Rose
on
Anvil. Yeah, I was talking about Rose.
Right. So you
So-
really, that's why you see the tumble texture so much more on the sides. Gotcha.
But look here. So
So a little bit before you got here, well, it might have been a lot bit before you got here, but before I started playing this video, I talked about Rose Anvil. Rose Anvil is where I personally learned a lot of knowledge about leather, a lot of information about the tech specs and things like this, and how leather is worked or done. That's actually where I got my information and knowledge about the difference between suede, nubuck, and durabuck from, and the tanning process, and how to tell by looking at the textures of the leather whether or not it's good leather and what's really going on and stuff like that. So shout out to Rose Anvil, because that's where I gained a lot of my information from.
you see the tumble texture here, but this should be the same,
Well, okay.
and it's not.
Is that because you
Same.
think this could be
I
synthetic,
think
or is
that
it
this is probably synthetic.
Okay, that would make
both
sense.
the swoosh and this, and then the same thing here. It's not.
right? Right.
Versus here, it is.
Yeah, you can see the sort of tumbles,
Yeah,
and
no.
it just looks a little bit more stretched on the black.
Yeah,
areas.
and again, it might just be age. This
Right.
this is the other way to test it is they call it like a pull up. Where you or a crease, you kind of push it and see if it pops back up.
Okay.
If it doesn't keep a seam or anything like that, then it's probably not as good a quality leather.
Okay.
So this does it very well. It's hard to compare because there's age difference. So
Yes.
this will have naturally. This is the
So like, if let me see.
it'll start to break down a little bit. And again, to most people, that's a good thing.
So he said if you press it and it keeps the same, then it's probably good quality leather. And if it doesn't, so like, of course these are new. So when I press mine, shit, it keeps that same. And these are brand new compared to his worn pair. It damn sure did keep that same. Let me see. I'm gonna press it. Boom. Press it down like that. It like I damn near crushed that shit. I gotta go in and yeah, I gotta go in and push it. So I mean, by his own accord, that means my pair are better than Seth's pair, but Seth got an early pair. But by this man's testimony, my pair are better than Seth's pair. Now, is that because, and I'm not saying that this is true, but I have to throw this variable out there, saying how he's, not really giving the guy much to work with, and he's thrown out the wrong variables. But is it possible that Seth got a fake pair? Is it possible that Seth's pair is just bad out of the thousands of pairs that were released? Is it possible that my pair is a really good pair? Yes, all of those are possibilities. But based on what this guy is saying, he's basically judging the entirety of the 2025 release and saying that more than likely all of them are going to be bad, not going to be good quality. But he has not seen my pair. I don't know where this guy is. I don't know where Seth is from, but maybe I can find somebody in Georgia and do like the same thing with my pair. I don't have a 2016 pair, so I'd have to try to hunt down a 2016 pair, or maybe I could just, I don't know how I would do that. Or maybe I would just do it a little bit differently and ask about the full scheme of Jordan, different ones, but ask.
Well, I mean, as a collector, I love the way that
Narrow
this
more-
feels, and I think that this
narrow
is just a
down
really
question.
nice. It's aged really nicely after the last 10 years of me sort of wearing it, and now I want to ask, and we don't have to do this at all, and I also wouldn't be mad if we didn't do this because it's my personal pair, and I don't have another one. Would it help to determine which one's better if we cut it open? No. Okay, cool.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, thank God. I know it'd be a great thumbnail, but that's like a $600 pair of shoes.
Yeah,
that I'm not trying to.
no,
Okay,
I don't.
cool.
I don't. It's not going to change the. I wouldn't say it's drastically different on the orange and the white on
Okay.
either pair.
Okay.
But I can just tell that it's a higher quality. I would guarantee that if we sourced it all back, you're going to find that this is probably a little bit better made. The black, I would say definitely this is nicer. The 15 is nicer.
That makes sense.
But again, they're probably, I'm sure that they're taking a lot of these pieces and they're finding whatever the black is that meets whatever spec whoever's designed them, and they just make a zillion Nike swooshes.
Yeah,
and they
no,
do
that
it.
makes sense. That makes total sense. Okay, so if I guess to give a sort of definitive
Just
answer,
to be
obviously this
honest,
one,
even in the original
how
85
much
pair,
better do you think it is? And I guess the way
think
we
about the
do this
Nike
is like
swoosh,
0 being fully.
He's talking about the Nike swoosh. The thing about the Nike swooshes, even in the 85 pair, the Nike swoosh was not real leather. So I mean, yeah, it is what it is.
Just the worst of the worst leather. 10 being like top of the line. Would top of the line Horween be like the best of the best?
That would, for me, again, in the US wise,
Okay.
Horween and like a Wickett and Craig for veg tan, Horween for chrome.
Okay.
tan would be my basis for kind of top of the line.
So in terms of that, where
And then basically based on like watching a lot of Rose Anvil videos, a lot of Nike's material, a lot of Nike's leather is not top quality leather. It's probably below mid, but Rose Anvil has never tested like Alma Manier or collab leathers or like a Travis Scott collab or a Drake certified lover boy collab. He's never tested those leathers because those leathers do seem to feel a whole hell of a lot different than like just regular releases. Now it just could be our minds playing tricks on us, or the fact that they charge us more playing tricks on us that steer our thought process as to what's good or what's not. But I've never seen anybody test a collab pair.
would you rank these shoes on that list? Like where would the newer one go, and then where would the older one go?
Okay. Well, I would say I don't think either one of them are like the best quality. So
Right.
let's say that, you know, the 15 would be, in my estimation, would maybe be like a 6 or 7, and
wow, okay.
this would be maybe a, you know, 3 or 4.
Okay.
So it's not like
His
not
pair.
drastic different.
His pair
But
is
it
a
is
3
enough,
or
it's definitely
4,
enough difference that
and the 2015 pair
It would
is
matter
a 6
to me.
or a
Well, I
7.
want to
But
ask a couple more
again,
questions, kind of go over some of the stuff you've got in the studio.
and this is not me being upset at the answer, but again, we have to think about the variable of his pair, the 2015 being 10 years old and worn, and the 2025 being not the best out of the batch, but like unworn and brand new. So I don't know.
And kind of learn some things about leather and maybe sort of bust some myths about leather if we could do that.
sounds good.
All right, so there's your answer. The Shattered Backboard 2015s, according to a leather expert, are nicer quality than the 2025s. At the end of the day, though,
In
they're both
accordance,
Jordan brand.
in accordance to what you have currently in your hands. Yes, he says in accordance, and I got to put that asterisk right there. In accordance to what you have in your hand, as far as the 2025, the 2015 is better than your 2025.
leather, which is not the best. And realistically, if you can't afford these, get these. There's nothing wrong with that. But at this point, I actually wanted to have Mike.
And that part right there, I don't like. If you can't afford these, then get these. There's that level of classism, arrogance that I don't like. I don't usually like to hear. And I try to avoid doing that. I might have done that at some point in time, and if I have, forgive me, because it happens unintentionally. But it's not about if you can or can't afford it. It's about, do you really want to pay for it? So like the question is, knowing that leather quality is not the greatest across the board for any Jordan brand or Nike shoe, $685 versus $185, and potentially the shoe is going to go on sale and you can get it for a lot cheaper, $120, $130. Based on those factors, not the best leather across the board. A 10-year-old shoe versus a brand new shoe, where I can either pay $685 for a decade old shoe, or I can pay potentially at the cheapest $120 or $100 for a current shoe. Why again would I pay $685 for a 10-year-old shoe just to get what some opinion is a better quality leather. I don't like the fact that he used whether you can afford it or not. That's the wrong thing that's the wrong way to put that. That's really the wrong way to put
Rank
that.
some of the sneakers that
It should have been put based on your preference. If you want to pay $685 for a shoe that a leather expert says could potentially have better leather quality than a 2025 pair, where you can get that for between, at the lowest, if it goes on sale, $100, and at the highest, if it doesn't go on sale, $180. The choice is yours. And I had to clean it
I
up.
had in my collection that people consider to be really high quality, and find out which ones are actually high quality and which ones are not as good as we thought. Because sure, I've made a shoe in a shoe factory in Portugal with real leathers and suedes and things like that, but not everybody has. And there's also so much that I can learn. I'm not saying that I'm an expert. I've never said that I was an expert.
Oh, that's pretty
It
dope.
just-
I would love to
opinions
make
are really
make
mine,
a shoe.
but that's okay. But that's fine. If you want to check out the video where I make a shoe in Portugal, click the link right up there. But with that being said, though, this next part is really interesting, and we actually bust a bunch of myths about leathers and sneakers and find out which sneakers are actually decent quality and which ones are not as good quality as we thought.
Okay, so Mike, we've got a lot of really cool leathers here, and I want to kind of go through them in a second. But first, before we do that, I want to show you a couple shoes and get your opinions on some other shoes which people consider to be some of the higher quality shoes out there in the market. So this first one is a recently released Air Jordan 1, inspired by the original 1985 Air Jordan 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's a higher retail price point. It's got much thicker leather. Wanted to see sort of what your thoughts were on quality.
Quality is in the eye of the beholder, right? I'm not a big fan of this type of leather. It's almost look more, I don't know if it's not patent leather, but it's more brush finished. It just doesn't have quite the, like, I wouldn't want to work on this, something with this leather. I don't know.
Gotcha.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad quality or not. I mean, it doesn't look like doesn't look plastic.
Right.
It looks like it's real leather.
Okay, so the first problem I see with this guy talking about these 85s is he's already thrown his personal bias in on it. So he's saying that it's not a bad quality of leather, but just by the feel of it, he wouldn't enjoy working on it. So, like, you could hear in his tone when he touched it, he was like, nah, I wouldn't want to touch this shit. But he doesn't say it's bad.
And this pair's been worn. I've worn this pair probably 40 different times.
Okay.
I mean, for weeks in a row.
I wouldn't be
I highly doubt he's worn that pair 40 different times. I highly doubt it.
surprised if there's not some kind of a composite in this
Okay.
leather.
So sort of backing the.
Yeah, but you can kind of see like here, and I'm sure this is a point where you're moving your foot, but
Yeah.
the crease in here would identify to me that that's a real leather. Where
Okay.
See, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so with the shattered backboard, see, here's the problem. Here's the problem that I have with the small sample size and the questions that Seth asked. When it came to the shattered backboards, that guy he just said with the bread 85s, the creasing at the toe because it's worn. Now again, Steph's 2025 pair have not been worn. He said with the way that the 85 pair creased, he would say that it's real leather. He didn't see the creases on the 2025 pair. So he concluded that it was not real leather. I've not worn my 2025 pair, but you can clearly see the crease right there along this overlay, this lace overlay. You can see the crease. But 2025 pair, Seth's 2025 pair, there was no crease there. And the guy said, I'm pretty sure that this is not real leather. I have to question the realness of the leather. My 2025 pair, DS as well, never worn, has a crease. So what is Seth's 2025 shattered backboards fake and mine are real? I mean, I damn sure know that mine are real because I got them straight from DTLR. I got my pair straight from DTLR, and then I got another pair from what is it? Goes the box. Hibbets. I think it was Hibbets. Was it? Because City Gear, I don't remember, but I got it from the store. I picked them up from the store. I think it was DTLR, and the other pair I got them from somewhere. But is Seth's 2025 shattered backboards fake? So because he did get them early, I believe. Seth gets a lot of. I don't know. I'm pretty sure he got them early. In order to, because I was like scrolling through his channel and I saw like the shattered backboards before the actual release. So I would guess to say that he got them early. But I mean, I've kind of, my pair alone right here, my random pair kind of changes this guy's narrative about like whether the leather is leather or quality. I don't know. See, and this is crazy.
It seems to me this looks more like a cheaper kind of leather on these portions.
That makes sense.
And you know, the red looks a little bit nicer.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's just the leather or if it's the positioning in the shoe itself.
Right.
Like
Can you determine anything from the? Can you see any grain in the sides of on the edges, or is that something that's difficult to kind of?
Yeah, like you can see when you pinch it.
Oh yeah.
See how that? And I'm sure that this is probably similar versus here. Like this
Right.
red is
that's
different.
super thin. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
This is definitely. I think it's. I mean, I would say that it's real leather. I'm not sure it's. I don't think any of this stuff is super high quality leather.
I actually have a pair from 1985,
There you
an
go.
original pair.
All right, let's see. Well, I would tell you that this
Oh.
it may just be part of the age, but
Right.
it definitely looks and feels. You can start to see the patina
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
here, like where it's when that's wearing through. Like Horween does that really well,
Mhm.
which is one of these pieces. When you really start to scuff it up, it gets it to me. It gives it so much more character.
Right.
Versus here, like you can see, this was probably made to look
Right.
like leather, but it's not. It's a
Right.
composite.
That makes sense. And it's interesting because all the pairs from 1985 are wearing this exact same way
Yeah.
on this panel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's I'm not even sure that's not. It's probably not leather at all.
Okay.
Or if it is, it's like a composite leather.
The swoosh also is pretty thin too, which I noticed on this one. Like they're both thinner even than that one. And I guess that was just
I think it's probably just because it's just an ornamental piece. It's not meant
Gotcha.
to be any kind of structure. I would say, yeah, you can tell that these are more, you can just kind of, from the look of it, you know, and the shine and the patina, that these are more higher quality than this one.
right. And the way the edges fray too, I really like on both of them.
Mhm.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Yep. No, it gives it the authenticity.
True. So before we get into more leather quality, I've got a couple other shoes to show you. First one is a pair of Diodoras.
Okay.
So I want to see what your thoughts are on this one.
So he said he was going to compare leather quality across the board, and he starts pulling out. He pulls out a suede shoe.
And now this is just kind of a standard
I
pair of
don't-
Diodoras. I believe it is a collaboration, so technically it's apparently supposed to be a little bit nicer.
Mhm.
But how are you feeling about the suedes and the Nicolax?
I would say that this is. It seems like a very high quality.
I think it was also produced in relatively limited quantities too, and it might be made.
You know, kind of you can smell the leather here. You actually hear it. Like you can put it up.
Like, what's a good way for just an average person like me to figure out like what suede's nicer, what suede's not?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of your.
He brought a
personal
Theodore.
taste,
He brought a New
texture little
Balance.
bit. You know, it's just now that doesn't necessarily mean quality to certain.
Right,
things,
like
'cause-
carrier doesn't mean
Yeah,
better than gotcha.
correct.
Okay.
But I can just feel. This feels like a nice
Mhm,
high quality leather.
mhm.
This I would say, if I was looking at these two together, I would be like, absolutely, this
Yeah.
is nicer. So
Yeah, it makes sense.
maybe if you're ranking them, you know, 1, 2, 3, the nice thickness.
Mhm.
It's a good
Dusty
quality.
ass Birkenstock. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the problem I have. Why are you comparing, even though they're all leathers? Why are you comparing a Diodora suede, a New Balance suede, and a Jordan 1 85 different leather together? Wouldn't you get a Diodora, a New Balance, and a Nike shoe that was all suede? I don't understand why he had this guy compare those three, or why the guy would arbitrarily compare those three when those are two different textures. I don't understand that. This is what I don't understand. This part I don't understand.
leather. Patina is super cool,
Yeah,
super
yeah.
well.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I think it's made really well. I think, and you can kind of see if you look when you're doing the
Oh, yeah.
creasing, it's meant to.
And then why are you? Oh my God! Why are you comparing a heavily worn in Birkenstock? I don't. Okay. We just gonna hit play.
To wear
Right.
well, you know, like
Yeah.
same thing with like Bloodstones. If you've ever,
This one almost, or maybe even.
well, again, it's different. I would venture to guess this is probably the
Did I do that?
most expensive leather. Yeah, I would say these are probably comparable. A
Okay.
different product because this is suede and this
Right.
is more of a regular.
He said it himself. These are comparable but different product. You can't say that two different, like, I don't know. Okay.
Leather finish.
Show me the best leather that you have.
I got to get this out. You can't say that two different finishes are comparable. And how could you rank suede shoes to a different texture of leather? Like, he needed to have a Nike or a Jordan brand suede
Let's start
shoe.
with the best, and then kind of venture our way
doesn't
down.
add
Well,
up.
and I'm a little partial, but
Okay.
I've been sourcing leathers for 30 some years at this point.
That's awesome.
Mostly recycled, the highest grade. They do some of the best.
Okay, he's talking about his
more
personal
economic.
preference for
No, they're-
leathers.
Right.
Yeah,
for
of course, like
50
you heard, he
years.
had been
It's hard. This
sourcing
is like
leathers
saddle
for 30
veg,
years.
and so they'll come from a brown cow.
Right.
So this just to have one of each. This is leathers.
This video first by saying thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. It's really cool that you guys wanted to learn that much about leather. It's awesome. I learned a lot from talking to Mike. It was a great experience, and I totally understand if the leather quality doesn't matter to you. That's fine. If you want to buy this shoe because you like the shattered backboard colorway, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just annoyed by the fact that Jordan Brand gave us a significantly better product 10 years ago, and then now in 2025 we're getting something that really is not as good. Also, I just want to say no shade to anybody who made videos calling people out as leather experts, or to the commenters or the Instagram posts or anybody like that. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. I think that's great that we have a place that we can kind of talk about what we love, what we're passionate about, which is sneakers. And whether you agree with me or don't, that's fine. I just love the fact that we're able
So he did a good video. I don't know though if you can come up with a definitive conclusion based off of the type of video he did. I'm not saying that he did anything wrong, but I'm saying that I don't know if you can draw a definitive good conclusion off of the type of video he did. Again, I'm not going to reiterate what I would have done, because if I ever decided to do it, I'd be giving away my sauce and whatnot. But I will say this: I would have at least have brought something like a collaborative shoe where people think that it's like the top quality of what we're gonna get, like an Alma Manier. And then if I was gonna compare leathers across brands, if I brought in a shattered backboard, or if I brought in an 85 high, then I would have brought in like a Adidas high. And I would have brought in a Diadora high of the same look and leather type. And then if I wanted to ask about suedes, then I would have brought in probably something like a Undefeated 4, and then a Diadora, and then a New Balance, or something like that. Or whatever the hairiest suede shoe that Jordan Brand has done, like the British Khaki compared to the Diadora and the New Balance. But for him to just arbitrarily and randomly just go from talking about like this type of leather and then bringing out a fucking suede New Balance and a suede Diadora, it just does not make sense. That part of the video did not make sense to me. I don't know. But I appreciate Seth, this guy, for attempting and trying to, I guess, prove the naysayers wrong. And I guess that would reinforce the fact of me questioning, did he do it for the purposes of gaining knowledge? And I'm pretty sure a part of it was that. Or did he more so do it to be like, oh, okay, I'm sick and tired of these people hating on me, telling me I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I've made my own shoe before, and I just want these people to shut the fuck up. It more so leans to that for me. But like I said, there were some good points, and there were a lot of points that did not make sense in the video. And just by my pair alone, it would kind of disprove some of the guy's talking points. But I understand what the guy was saying. It would just disprove it as far as a as far as the batches of shattered backboards as a whole. Because look, I'm not taking away from the guy's 30 years of leather expertise, but his lack of knowledge for Jordan brand and Nike definitely showed. And for the most part, he was very unbiased until he got to the 85s. You can see the biases in his, kind of in his wrap up or statements about it, but that's neither here nor there. He still was able to, well, he didn't really talk about the 85s, but he was still able to give like a consensus about the 85s. But I don't know, maybe I will actually try to do something like that. Maybe I will narrow the scope and use this as a stepping stone to give you all even better information. Because I mean, what do they say? Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, or it is, somebody has to start it. It is a stepping stone for better, more in-depth information. And maybe hell, it might even lead me to Oregon and I can get in there and see what they actually use. I don't know. You never know who's listening. So always make your videos like your first impressions. But off of this sample size, I would say it's a good start. It's not the greatest. It was all over the place. And maybe, we can get a little bit better. But again, shout out to Seth. I'm pretty sure he does some good work. And I learned something from this, especially when it comes to the fold and the leather, and the fact that the pebbling is not real pebbling, that it's an embossing. So I did learn some things in this video, and I learned how to kind of identify and spot some certain areas, and some of the things I already knew, and stuff like that. But it's always good to add to your repertoire. But shout out to Seth Fowler for the video. Again, pretty sure. I'm pretty sure, he put a lot of time and effort into it. It's 8:52, so I know the game has already started. That's gonna do it for the Soul Source weekly wrap up. I don't know, man. We might be going 3 days a week, man. We might have worked into something. Of course, the temperature always changes. Like I mentioned, the Black Tongue Fire Red 5s, the raffles are currently open on Foot Locker, Snipes, and Hibbets. So if you want those, go ahead, enter those raffles. I will remind you all again on Tuesday, the raffle to enter Snipes ends in 2 days and 3 hours. So you don't have much time to enter in Snipes. I would just say don't enter in the ship to me, because they will ship your shit out in a bag and your shit will be crushed. But with that being said, it's football time. I don't want to hold you up any further. I've enjoyed the conversation with all of you. Thank you for your time. Again, you could be spending your time anywhere else, and you chose to spend it here with me. I love and appreciate you all. If you did not catch tonight's live, you'll be able to catch it on the wrap up. I might post this on to what is it? Spotify. So you can listen to it if you didn't catch it in the car or whatever. I need to post some of those videos to Spotify. So I'll work on that as well in between time and rehab. But again, I love y'all. Thank you all for spending your time here with me. I much appreciate you all. Working on merch too. I want to give y'all the best product. Before I go, I cannot leave y'all without saying nothing is impossible. Fight for everything you believe in. Don't let anything stand in your way, and dream hungry. Keep on grinding, keep doing what you do, and never give up. I love you all. Peace.